He was riding the fence. Oh, I'm a jock. No, now I'm a nerd. No, now you're a full-time nerd, baby, all the way. Gain an extra 50 pounds pounding away those snacks. No exercise for you. It's just sitting around playing games, watching TV. Milk chugs, more like milk chugs than milk duds. Um, how do they call them milk duds when everyone is a winner? They're not. There's not. I've yet to find an actual dud.
Hey, Biff, what's the difference between a hooker and a drug dealer?
I don't know. What's the difference?
A hooker can wash her crack and sell it again. Why did I say her? Why did I limit that? A hooker, period, of any gender.
I think they're called sex workers now. You're already canceled.
Hey, Biff, what do you get? I'm going to edit that.
Are you okay?
No. Hey, Biff, what do you call it when a turtle gets gonorrhea?
What do you call it when a turtle gets gonorrhea?
The slow clap.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. This is Jacques.
Hey, this is Joe. Biff isn't here.
You're starting right off the top, giving credit or blame to that turtle joke to Mr. Wayne Russell, who had just sent that in to me. Wayne co-hosted the awesome sideshow last week with comedian and showrunner, producer Mike Smith. It was such a fun episode. It was so great that Wayne was able to jump on. So thank you, Wayne, for that. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for that, and thank you for the turtle joke.
Yes, it was a fun episode because I wasn't on it. I didn't have to record. I didn't have to edit. I technically didn't even have to listen, but I decided, you know what? It's the new year, new me. I'm going to listen to our podcasts from now on. That's my New Year's resolution. Listen to my own podcast, especially the ones that I'm not participating in.
But that was super fun. So shout out and thank you again to those guys. And it's funny that he just said that turtle joke because our good friend Biff last week sent the F&H text group that I'm on a very sad posting. There is a bar in Santa Monica called Brennan's that my wife and I had gone to a number of times that is famous for their weekly turtle races.
Oh.
They've been doing turtle races there for over 50 years. And I remember the first time my wife and I went by the place and it says turtle races, Tuesday night. And my wife says, I think you go in on Tuesday and you bet and you go back next Tuesday to see if you won. So stupid. But it's one of those things where, just real estate has gone up and they can't, the rents have gone up so much. It is. It's a staple. It's been there well over 50 years. But
I would be so tempted to bring a bunny rabbit dressed like a turtle to compete with the other turtles to see if that holds true.
Oh, man.
Modern design. Whoop, whoop, woohoo.
Oh, so get right into it. Joe, how was your New Year's?
Great.
You do anything fun?
No. Didn't do a damn thing. I think I just watched. Actually, we did less this year for New Year's at our house than we did last year because last year we would watch the Three Stooges marathon on our collection because they don't air them anymore, or you find them on YouTube. But we put it on shuffle for on our collection, and I and my two sons watched from like 8 o'clock until midnight. 3 Stooges episodes, trying to continue that tradition from long ago in the 80s and 70s and 90s of Boston's, New Year's Eve Three Stooges marathons on TB 38, sometimes hosted by Dana Hersey from the Movie Loft. But this year, in previous years, we would then, around 11:55, we would go downstairs to where my wife is because she doesn't like the Three Stooges as
What?
much. Yeah.
Was she down there listening to Rush albums?
Yeah. She was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and no, she doesn't. Yeah, obviously she doesn't like the Three Stooges because she's a girl. No,
that's true. And for those who don't get the joke, that's what the reference to Rush is about.
Uh-huh. So we would go down and watch the balls drop on, Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, but this year we weren't able to do that because the reception now, we don't have cable and we don't have any of like the live television services that you'd get like on like YouTube TV or anything like that. So we rely on antenna over the air reception, but the reception in our area where the TV is located is so poor that even an antenna doesn't pick up the local ABC affiliate in the living room with our setup. So we went down there, and I don't know, we were able to Mickey Mouse it last year, but this year it was just like we tried to watch on an app, like an ABC Live app, but that wasn't carrying the Ryan Seacrest ball drop. It was like a generic New York, Times Square ball drop, and it kind of wasn't the same. And I think it cut out. Oh, that's the thing, is like it, because of the technology, the stream cut out at midnight and then like kicked you out to the menu. So it was like you'd watch the countdown and then like you wouldn't be able to see the celebration. It was so odd. Yeah, and I was like, this is just like this dystopian society we live in now, where we can't even watch the New Year's Eve ball drop on television easily anymore. Like we have to subscribe to some fucking, $80 a month live TV service, or live in an area, or get an antenna that works. I don't know. It's peculiar.
We will talk about that a little more when we talk sport, by the way. But yeah, it is ridiculous. Side note here, Rush is going to be touring this year, which is a big deal to our friend Mike, who lives for them. And here's the funny thing. Rush has essentially guaranteed a doubling of female audience members at their concerts going forward. And it's not a joke.
They have a second woman coming?
Yes. The drummer replacing Neil Peart is a woman.
Well, you can't double zero.
It's funny. I just found out recently, good comedian friend of mine, or ours, the podcast anyways, and I should have on a guest, really, really funny guy, really, really like him, a guy named James Hamilton. Turns out, like, I was driving him, back from a gig recently because he lives in Lowell, and his wife not only loves soccer, she plays soccer, played in college, still plays in an adult, women's soccer league, loves the Three Stooges. Huh. And I'm like, I think you're going to marry a unicorn. I don't know how you don't have a ring on that thing already, James. That's a keeper.
If she loves the Three Stooges and loves the Stooges, like that would be, oh my God.
Well, then I would have to.
You'd have to like clone that person.
Yeah, yes.
You have to like extract their DNA and save it for future.
Gosh, that would be awesome. So my New Year's was a delicious train wreck that was completely expected. Last year, Wayne hosted. I guess this has become the Wayne Russell podcast. Mentioned 5 times.
That is my New Year's resolution, actually, for
more Wayne.
This to become more Wayne, less Nessman.
So he hosted at this place, Margaritaville, down on the Cape. It was a train wreck. It was, I think he said it was his worst show, maybe ever. Not his worst show, but the worst show he was part of. It was just horribly run, horribly this. So Mike Kotrobis wasn't going to book there. They begged him to. He had big meetings. Things were in place, but he knew it was going to be a train wreck, which is why he sent me, anticipating. One of the problems last year is they had a separate kids room that got out a half hour before the comedy show was over. So halfway through the show, kids are coming into the dining area, like the ballroom where the show was. And there were some people who didn't mind seeing their kids, but there were some people who didn't all of a sudden we're thrown. There's a bunch of 8-year-olds in the room and, all of that. So this year they were going to let kids in, but kids under 12 were going to have to pay. Kids 12 to 18 were going to be half price. They were going to make it family friendly.
That is the kids under 12 would have to pay?
No, kids under 12 free.
Oh, okay.
Kids 12 to 18 paid $65 because it was $130, DJ, full dinner, DJ after, champagne at midnight, all that stuff, $130. So I knew it was going to be bad. We knew it was going to be bad. The day before, Mike, had a meeting with all the 5 people running his shows just to kind of touch base with
the 5 families.
The 5 families, yes. How everything was coming together. And he said, there's the term he used was there's 16 braves, no chief. And every brave is going to think that they are either running the show and they're not, or are going to be looking to everybody else to make decisions and directions. And that's exactly what happened. There was a couple people who, as I'm getting there, bringing the gear in. First of all, I get to Margaritaville, and I'll ask you, when you think Margaritaville, it's a Margaritaville resort. What do you picture that resort to be?
Beachfront, sandy, like kind of tropical. Margaritaville, like I'm,
Jimmy Buffett themed.
Yeah, like you'd have like the tiki torches, sans the Charlottesville, the stink on it. Margaritas, like a lot of, it's sort of a vibe, like Hawaiian shirts.
Older,
yeah, like retirement age.
So this, I come to find out, and when I don't know if somebody had told me and I didn't retain it, but management drops me off at the front door because I'm not sure which door I'm going to bring the gear in. And as the sliding glass doors are opening, I'm not in there yet. You got punched in the face with the smell of chlorine because apparently this used to be and still is an indoor water park family resort that they rebranded. So, which I didn't. I thought, it was a little weird that maybe people were there with the kids and maybe, that maybe they have a pool, but that it wasn't a family themed indoor water park before whatever company bought it over and then rebranded it Margaritaville a couple of years ago. I did not know that part. So it's more kid than adult to begin with, like a 2 to 3 to 1 kid to adult ratio,
which is odd for a place named after an alcoholic beverage.
Yes. That's so
that's like, Budweiser presents, Whalum Park, which for the, non-New Englanders out there, Whalum Park was an amusement park where you have a whale of a time. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to have to say it if you did not. So I get there and I'm setting up and the stage is there and there's a big screen TV on either side of the stage. And they're trying to make sure that they can have the TV, the CNN show, so they can see the different fireworks. And I said, those TVs are not going to be on during the show. They're like, well, with the fireworks going on and kids might want to watch the fireworks. I said, absolutely not. I put my foot down. I wasn't a dick about it, but I'm like, that will completely distract from the comedy show right here. Plus, then the DJ showed up, and that's where they had to put the DJ. But there was all these things. So the kids' room is adjacent. It's a huge function room that they close the accordion door between the two rooms, except for the last 3 panels, which is about let's say a 20-yard gap. So as you're on stage, you can hear the magician in the other room doing the kids' balloon animal. And the kids are coming back and forth. It's not like they have to leave the room and come. And my management, she for a decade in LA ran the kids' room at big events at the hotels for stuff like this, and her job and the other nanny's jobs were to keep the kids from going into those rooms. You kept them. That's what you wanted. Mm-hmm. So this year they were like, we're not going to have a pretense of the kids aren't going to be here, but we're charging kids over 12. But I didn't know it was the same room with one of those accordion doors between it. So everything that we expected to be shitty about it was. I'm going to say about 120 people, maybe 40 were over 30. And out of that, only 20 were not with kids. And we were talking full families of mom, a stepdad with his older kids from his first marriage who are late high school down to the 3-4-year-olds.
So you're a line of you haven't had a Hummer until you've had a Gummer. Didn't go over well.
So that's one of the reasons Mike sent me. It's because I can talk for 30 minutes without talking about it. Oh, first of all, first time I was told, yeah, do 25, 30 minutes if you want.
Whoa.
So yes. And Mike is confident that I'd be okay being able to do that much time and doing that much time clean.
Luckily, you know how to do balloon animals too.
A couple innuendos, and it's, hey, if the kids get the jokes,
it's not our fault.
So, in the headliner, you know, this guy Kyle Crawford, I've worked with him a couple times. I've liked him. You know, when I've worked with him. I liked him when I saw him, you know, with a show that he and Mike did that I checked out like a month or so ago. Never saw him do a long set like this. We'll get back to his set in a second. I did fine. I literally did fine. Got heckled a little bit. Not heckled, but
kids can be cruel.
There was teenagers right at the side of the stage that I Gen Z'd them. I'm like, oh, look at you with your aura. So his friends started laughing at him. Like there was couples whose kids are friends. Maybe these mom and dad are friends because these kids played on the same soccer team growing up. It's one of those things. It was very families coming together. Now, there was a couple people, so I'm checking people in who were very thrown because they got dressed up. This was their big night out. They spent $260 to have a couple's night at New Year's Eve. And they look around and there's a bunch of 6-year-olds. And we're saying, well, there's a kid's room over here. And they were upset. And I took out the flyer. I'm like, well, it was on the flyer. So sorry that you're thrown by this. So, and then one of the guys doing doing whatever was like, oh, how much do the kids pay? And they're like, I'm like, oh, it's 65, 12 and up. And I show him the flyer. He goes, well, what's the split between the Mike and the comedy people and us? I'm like, I can give you Mike's number. I'm the comedian. I'm here to tell jokes and check people in. And I text Mike and said, hey, this guy's going to call, blah, blah, blah. A show night. Like this has been on the book since last year. After the last year's show, Mike wasn't going to do it. They said, let's please do it. Last January, all this shit was worked out. He talked to him. And now, just like Mike said, at 6:00, as I'm checking people in, they're asking me what the money split is on the door to this. You know, everything was wrong. So when I get there early to set up my gear, and I got there a little early, not really sure what the lay of the land's going to be. Doors are at 6. At 4:00, they're setting the tables. They have the water, and they're pouring the water into the glasses with ice 2 hours before the door. Yes, Joe is giving me the, what the fuck are you talking about look, which is a look I gave the people pouring the water, but
them's the rules.
Okay. No. And then that's when they're talking about what courses are coming out at what time. And I'm texting Mike. I'm like, oh, it's going to be worse than he said. It's, and look, I've talked about this in the podcast. I want to be so much better at this. And I want to be one of the better hosts in New England. And the best host in New England is Tony V, Paul Gilligan, Mike Katrobis.
When you say better at this, you mean hosting comedy shows, not a podcast.
Shows. Yes. You want to do 8 years
that ain't happening. That train has sailed.
420 episodes. The audio problems last week. Nope. They're watching you spill shit all over yourself.
I deserve it.
No, but look, I get booked because I will host. I get booked because I have gear, and I'm okay at it. But I want to be great at it. You know, I'm more interested in being a great host and a great headliner. I want to turn around, and I'll get there. So I want the shows that are going to be tough. That said, yeah, I mean, the high school kids, the early college kids, who I'll get back to them in a second. But there's kids. But there's a dance floor right in front of the stage, which was the problem last year, which means the closest person in front of me is 20 yards away, but there are tables right on my left, stage left. And that's where there's a table of like 8 high school
Punks.
Kids are. To my right is where the DJ, booth is. So the closest person to my right is 20 yards away, the person. So you are far away from people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to connect.
Yeah.
It's a little hard. They would dim the light, but the lights weren't off. So the spotlight helped. But the thing about having a backdrop and a spotlight is it focuses your eyes over here.
Yes.
Hey, dummy, show's over this way.
Right.
And if it's in the darker the room, the more people feel comfortable laughing at a joke. Maybe you wouldn't.
But kids are afraid of the dark.
Kids are afraid. But they also are serving food still, and people are getting up to go to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So but I wasn't thrown. I did my material, but I didn't rush through it. I tried to interact as much as you could, but I'm not a crowd work guy. But if I said, hey, where are my parents? I would talk to that table, not talk to a person, involve people without talking to somebody type thing. But when I threw out the Gen C stuff, there was a guy who I heard to stage left again, maybe 40 yards away. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe like 40 feet, but several tables back, just kind of saying some stuff. And I interacted in a little bit, like not engaging with them, but calling attention to, hey, my friend over here is trying to punch up my material, something like that. But I did almost 25, minutes, got some laughs in the right places, got some groans in the right places. I think I dropped one F-bomb, which, as we know in PG-13 movies, I think you get 3. I think you get 2 or 3.
I think it's just the one.
Is it the one?
Yeah. I mean, well, Guardians of the Galaxy famously just had the one F word in part 3. Get in the fucking car.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So I did good. I did well. So now Kyle goes on, and he's a headline comic. I mean, he, as the warm-up person, as the host, even as the feature, you kind of leave the low-hanging fruit about the room to the headliner. So if there's a weird chandelier, if the seating is off, if there's something like that, the park, I did a double headliner show with Katrobis and Bjork and Wayne again, and it was at a gymnasium, and it was a total fuck. So they were talking about dividing up what they could talk about. Hey, I'm going to say something. I'll leave the lights to me. You take that. It was funny watching them work out what they could do.
Okay.
So, but I'm not that's all Kyle's. That's his. So I'm not going to do any of that, which again, kind of is low hanging fruit. You could connect with the room, but one of the unwritten rules is that's the headliners. Mm-hmm. So he does all that, dials them in. It's funny, calls attention to all the kids, all of this stuff.
Are there any written rules? Because I don't think.
Anyway,
is there a book somewhere?
There's probably plenty of
Is there a rule book somewhere?
Are you sure you're in a book? Sure, was it nothing?
Is there anything in the rule book that says an elephant can't do stand-up?
No,
okay.
They definitely can get out there.
Okay.
So, and something could said before I lost the 80 pounds this year that an elephant was doing it.
Oh, you.
Anyways, so I'm now sitting back at my table with my manager and Kyle's management, and it was nice. We were eating before. It was a nice couple's night. I know Kyle, but I've never sat down and broken bread with the guy or met his girlfriend. So it was nice. Management dressed up. I was dressed nice. So it was fun. So, but now this guy who kind of heckled me, Kyle says something, we'll talk about blah, blah, blah. And Kyle has a 50-year-old, receding hairline a little bit, not bald, but he's, not the game show host, lush 70s, He
doesn't have a mane of hair.
He's not, what's the guy from Stranger Things? The kid? The Harrington?
Oh, yeah. God, I just watched the damn show.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, man.
Anyway, Steve. He's not Steve the Harrington. And the guy says, why don't you talk about your hairline? Kyle's turns right around, goes, all right, let's talk about it. What do you got? Crickets.
Yep.
Crickets. And then he holds it long enough to be awkward and make sure that everybody is he goes, I'll tell you what, why don't you think it over? I'll get back to you. Tells another routine, tells a 3-4 minute bit. Really funny bit. He's a very Boston centric. We are assholes, and we're proud of it. And talks about like he's a construction guy. Talks about does a bit, gets the laughs here and there. It's not killing.
Mhm.
He's doing well, doing better than me. But he's commands a room more. But he's not. You're only going to do so much because, like I said, out of the 130 people in the room, at least 70 were under 15 years old, type thing, and went around. But so he did great. So then he tells this bit. Then he turns to the guy and goes, "All right, what do you got about my hair?" He goes, just tell your jokes. He goes, "All right, well, if you got anything else, you let me know."
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm with management, and this guy is now muttering to himself, but louder than I think he knows. He's hammered. Unbeknownst to me, because by the time I got over and sat down with management after my set, he didn't come to the show alone.
Uh-huh.
So whether that was a first date, a long date, a wife, girlfriend, at one point, she has left and has not come back. And maybe it's dawning on him. Maybe she has seen the show before, whatever. But now he mutters. Kyle picks up something, and he turns to him and goes, "All right, what do we got? My hair? We got something else? We're moving on to something else?" Crickets. And now Kyle goes on to his routine, and he's talking to the crowd, and this guy starts muttering himself, and he gets up and he's leaving, and he's like, I paid $260 for this, and I've been a better comic than that. It was like just having a whole. And as he's walking out, he's trying to make contact with people, like, who's with me?
Oh, right.
He's doing the storming off thing.
Uh-huh.
Who's with me type thing. And like, I could be funnier if I did this, blacked out, fall down drunk. And he's waiting for somebody to give him the, yeah, man. So now the other thing that this place decided to do is put out the New Year's Eve cheap paper hats and the noisemakers.
Mm-hmm.
The table right behind my wife and I and his girlfriend, big table, maybe seats 10, and there's 7, 8 late high school kids. They're all together. 2 or 3 are kind of watching the stage. The other one's backs are to them, and they're kind of talking to each other, and they're talking loud. And at one point, one of the kids blows the horns. It happened during my set 5 or 6 times. Mm-hmm. I just ignored it. So I pulled the dad move. Mm-hmm. I turn and I watch, and the kid's about to blow the horn, and I go and I take the 3 steps over and I sit down at the table, and instantly. And they're dressed nice. Their moms and dads told the girls, "You're dressing nice," and boys, it's prom night type thing. They were all, and they're all like just stunned silence. And I'm just ignoring them, looking at the stage. And he goes to look, the kid again, like goes to kind of blow the horn. I just look at him, and he goes, he says to his friend, he goes, "Oh, when he says something funny, we'll blow the horn." And I looked right at him, and I gave him the dad look. He goes, "Well, that's what they're here for, right? If they say something funny, we're supposed to blow the horns." I said, "Yes, that's what they're there for. If you're a dick." And one of his friends gives him the ooh type, and I just lock eyes with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, go ahead, And so I just sit there, and now it's a couple minutes, it's 5 minutes, and then one of the people are like, "Are you gonna sit here like the whole night?" I'm like, "Most likely." And then I just don't say anything else. I watch this tape. Then like 5 minutes later, like one of the kids came over and goes, "Hey, we're not going to do anything, but we're kind of hanging out with our friends." I'm like, "Oh, am I killing your vibe? Am I throwing your evening off? Am I blowing a noisemaker when you're trying to say a little joke to one of your friends? Because we won't do that." I said, "Okay." And I went back over to my table. And when I got back, I was like, Kyle owes me one. So Kyle's going on, and right in front of the stage, there's some talking at a table, and there's a girl, 10, 11, and he goes, "You probably have a joke." And she goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Come up." And for like a couple minutes, it's like, "No, come to the stage." She's like shy. She wants to tell her. And he's like, "I don't know if the cord reaches that long." And so I hooked up the extra cord, the cord to the cord thing. Now he can fucking walk out to the parking lot if he wants. Like if he wanted to go see what was happening in the dining and the
accordion side.
No, when you did the Dick Doherty, did you do the vault where you were going to go talk to the people in the kitchen?
Oh yes, no, I walked out onto the patio. There was like this like picture window where you could just sort of walk out and yeah.
So he walks over, and it's a fun thing. It's not embarrassing the kid. She really wants to tell a joke, and it's fun about and now they're negotiating. It's like, well, I'll hold the mic, you hold it, blah blah blah. And it was a kid joke. It was a fun joke, got it at the laugh. And then Kyle's like, "Anybody else?" And he gets back on stage, and one of these teen kids like, "Yeah." And then he gets up on stage and he makes a receding hairline joke. I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Whatever. That's what you call a street joke." The same thing. And then as the kid's going to sit down, he goes, is that your dad? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Your dad has a little more chrome on the dome than I do. Did you work it out with him?" And now it became a joke about his joke and this. "Dad, you got something?" He made karaoke with joke telling. He got whoever was going to be dialed in and paid attention were 100% dialed in, paid attention. He does probably 15 more minutes. And I'm just like, fucking whatever he's getting paid, there's a reason it's more than I'm getting paid. It was great to see it. It was great he found a way to connect with a room that you can't connect with.
Yeah.
He found a way to make that 20-yard dance floor accessible to walk all the way over there with the mic type thing,
Is he a cruise ship guy? Does he like maybe work those kinds of rooms?
He doesn't, but he should, because he's another one of those guys where, he's younger than me, but been doing it for 30 years. But now that he's at the point where kids are out of the house, he's thinking about doing, it's one of those things where it's funny because it's like, at this age, not winding it down, winding it up, because you can now go and do, these things type thing. So, dude, I had a great night with him. Huge fan. He's one of those guys where, he's a half hour away and I don't got anything. I'm going to go see my guy Kyle and hang out. But to watch him take a room like that, but, again, you, as well as he's doing, you can hear the magician corralling the kids for whatever next trick that he's doing in the next room. People walking in back and forth, the servers and stuff like that. It was a delicious, awful show.
What's his name again?
Kyle Crawford.
Kyle Crawford.
Kyle. Yeah, good guy. Good, really good guy. Really, but it was the delicious train wreck that Mike had promised. And again, I want as many bad shows. I want to get to the point of Kyle. I want to get to the point that Mike Whippy he's hosting the show. I want to be able to be a great comic in front of 8-year-olds and 80-year-olds, type thing, without pandering to either side, without playing down to one or counting out the other, type thing. We'll find out. You know what I mean?
Hey,
but it was fun. But management and I. We were back at our hotel, which was about 2 miles away, in the room, out of the nice clothes, watching Anderson Cooper. That's her happy place. She loves the Anderson Cooper and
Andy Cohen.
Andy Cohen loves him, and it was so. He made Andy Cohen made. It was very much a Michael Che Colin joke swap thing.
Yeah.
Where he had, I guess on Taylor Swift's last double album, had a song all about her boyfriend's penis. All innuendos, all this, very graphic.
Complimentary?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she is, well, he's, I guess, look, he's a 6'4" NFL, who I guess is proportionate all the way around.
Gotcha.
Or at least according to this song. But he does, Anderson Cooper doesn't know the song. So he's reading sight unseen. The dramatic reading of this song. So it's fun. They don't drink like they used to, drink a little at the end. Dude, it's fun. It's campy. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to enjoyed something like that, around 11:55 to 12:05, But unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of having cable or the access to cable or anything like that.
And the drive down was nice. It was a nice drive down, a little trafficy. But as we were driving to the hotel, it started to snow. So we wake to a winter wonderland. So the hotel we're on, it's Hyannis. You're pretty water adjacent in any direction, and this hotel was right near a pier. So it was so pristine. It was so beautiful. The pool's closed, obviously, but it's still current. I posted a picture. It's like, it's great, blah, blah, blah. Got a room by the pool. Dude, it was nice. It was really got the late checkout. We weren't in a rush to get back type thing. It was a great New Year's Eve.
Good. I'm glad.
But again, we don't party, we don't drink. So we're waking up with a hangover, but weren't rushing out. It was really great. But it was great. Last year I hosted a New Year's show for Mike. This was great. And it was a good show. I'm not putting it in on the bad show list. It was a tough show. But I did well as far as connecting, as far as where I am and the comedian that I am. I'm happy with how I did. The fact that I did 20 minutes, and no notes up there, you know what I mean? Had I driven home with Mike, plenty of notes, I'm sure. But you know what? Hey, let's talk about cable for a second. So we'll bleed right into sport. 2 weeks ago, my mom has the perfect rec room to watch games. My brother-in-law goes over. I think it was the last game of the season. Yeah, this is 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the last Patriot regular season game.
Dolphins?
Don't know. Okay. But the regular season game, anybody who had Vios?
Oh, Verizon. Oh, yeah, Verizon Fios. Yeah.
Fios. Yeah, there was no announcement beforehand that they weren't carrying the game.
Yeah, there was just like a graphic that came up at game time.
At game time, saying they want too much money and we weren't going to pass the cost to you poor fans, so you can't watch the game. And luckily it didn't mean anything.
Wouldn't that be great? I mean, the alternative would have been like, well, you could also absorb the cost. That would have been a nice Christmas present.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
How dare you? So, yeah, I mean, there was people furious. And now people are scrambling to find apps that you can stream it, pirate it, that you can get it. You have to subscribe to something else.
That's called spreading goodwill.
So I don't follow the NFL, but tangentially because of friends who do and content creators, I've seen the bitching and complaining all season that you have to, the game this week is on this channel and next week it's on that channel. And now it's on Amazon Prime. And then the next one is on Netflix. And then one game. So even I read this the other day, Robert Kraft was very upset because to be a New England Patriot fan this season required you to watch the game on 7 different outlets, including, of which, or 7 different paid things. So some of the games are on CBS. So if you have an antenna, maybe you got your CBS games locally, or you had cable, but then there was 5 different streaming services that you had to pay to watch Patriot games this year. And going back in the old days, when I lived in LA, I had the football package, which you got every fucking game of every fucking team. You got the NFL Red Zone. You got the replays. Like the next day, you got the replays of every game. But as the Patriots got really great, when I first moved to LA and the football package came out, I had to get it if I want to watch Patriot game, or you would get 2 or 3 games a year, but even the first couple of years, 2001, 2003, they weren't the Patriots yet. So they weren't 3 Monday night games. They weren't Sunday night games and stuff like that. But by the mid-teens, it became problematic to be a Patriot fan because in a 16-game schedule, 9 of the games would be night games.
Yeah, right. So getting to work the next day would be a struggle.
But at least
you were one of those working types.
They were all on ESPN or Monday night or Sunday Night Football.
And if you live in the New England area, the local ABC affiliate, WCBB, will carry Monday Night Football on ABC, I think.
Yeah, they had some deal where they got that.
Yeah, it was like ESPN on ABC, whatever it is.
But now this year, it's so fragmented, and it's because the last bunch when the contracts came up, there was I don't know why. Maybe there was a panic that, well, the wave of the future is streaming, so let's get in bed with streaming people. But now it's so literally, I can't tell. I can't speak to which streaming service had which, but that was the problem to the point where Robert Kraft's like, yeah, next season we have to, do something about this. But yeah, so I watch a lot of, real football, and they're all on different streaming services, but that's because Serie A, the Italian thing, is on Paramount. The Premier League is on Peacock, but I don't have to watch 3 different streaming services to watch Premier League games. It's like, here's the Premier League things and here's this. So it's just insane that, and I don't know what we're going to do because, people share streaming service logs in, but they're now cracking down on this.
They're cracking down.
I don't have HBO anymore. And I can't have HBO anymore because of how that works. That's fine.
Well, you can get HBO shows.
Yes. And I felt a little bad because I do have a friend's Plex thing that I log into. But just recently, there's this big wave, and we've talked about this on the podcast because, Joe's a big gamer, where it turns out now, with the way that Nintendo does games, is you don't buy games because there's no more physical media with Nintendo.
It's not entirely true, but video games in general are getting away from physical media because the size of the games don't necessarily fit on the media available, and 2, it's a way of controlling how it's like the old Disney VHS vault. The movies would come out in the movies, and then they come out on video for a limited amount of time, and then they go away. But now you can do that digitally. You can just delist games willy-nilly if you want it. So yeah, it sucks, and they're tied electronically to a server. So if that server goes away, if they stop supporting the server, that game goes away. It's like I can still play Super Mario Brothers on my Nintendo Entertainment System because I have physical media.
And it's funny because management's best friend just moved to Malaysia, and her boyfriend, or her husband, was, how much physical media can I bring? Because you don't know what you have over there in ways of streaming things. But the point I was going to make is that, look, I came from the music industry. I was at the ground floor when Napster threw a curveball in there. And then luckily, because Napster threw a curveball in there, I did very well making DVDs and Blu-rays. And I don't mind buying content. I don't mind paying for movies. I don't mind doing that. But now, where everything is streamed, and people found out, when I moved to Qatar, we uploaded 200 movies on to, there was a platform that you could do that, that company went out of business. And so I got rid of a bunch of DVDs that I wasn't taking overseas with me, that I lost a couple hundred movies. And, some collectors, friends of mine, were like, I told you. And so now here it is, a decade plus. And the new switch, there was all these people were up in arms. My sons were telling me about it. We talked about it on the podcast. I forget what it is, but they have these rules where they can ban you, or they can lock you out of games, or you're paying for these games or whatever, but you don't own the game. You're renting the license to play that game, but you don't own that media anymore. And so if you buy a movie on whatever platform A, and platform A gets absorbed by platform B in a year from now, does that mean the license carries over? Do you have that license in perpetuity to buy the TV show that you bought on Amazon Prime now that Amazon Prime's under this umbrella? Just say. So somebody had said this online. I had seen it saying, it's like, if buying it means I don't own it, then pirating doesn't mean I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind buying my content, but not if I don't own my content.
Right. Yeah. Like you want to be able to replay that media whenever you can within reason,
Right.
I mean, granted, there are games that rely on servers in order to play. And yeah, when those servers go away, it'll be sad, but it's, it is what it is. But to play a game that could have easily been ported over to a physical disc or a cartridge or whatever, to then say, no, that's not happening anymore. It's all streaming, all server all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I don't know going forward. Yeah. So I'm less conflicted about being on Plex now.
By the way, that also means, like, imagine. I think the Switch 2 is not entirely immune from this, but if everything goes all digital, eventually that device will become obsolete, like literally obsolete. Not like, oh, that's so old, nobody plays that anymore. It's like, no, you literally can't do shit with this thing because it relies on a network server that isn't supported anymore.
Right. And I guess we were just talking about this yesterday. I don't know the details, but I guess PS5 can't support everything in perpetuity, but the support for the PS4 ends sometime soon. So, I mean, we have a PS5, so it's no big deal, but I don't know. Does that mean if I'm playing a game that I got the downloadable content before, that it isn't going to be there if I go and play a Batman game, something like that?
I wonder if, because I didn't see the notice that you got, but I assume that means that Sony's just going to stop supporting the physical PS4 consoles. That you'll still be able to, like, use it. Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that means that you try to plug in a PS4 and, like, you can't connect anymore online.
Don't know.
I'm guessing that might be the case.
Maybe, you can throw in the PS3 when you get home and see if that is.
Oh, yeah, that connects to the PS network or something.
Something like that. I mean,
you know what? Honestly, Sony. Speaking, just to wrap this up, that reminds me of when the PS5 was originally announced years ago. I think they also made a sort of an announcement that, oh yeah, and by the way, we're not going to support backward compatibility. We're not going to support, like, the games that were previously made available on PS3, PlayStation 3, and the legacy games, like all that stuff that's on the network. We're not going to. You can't play those games anymore. And there was a enormous backlash from the gaming community and the Sony purchasing community, where they had to backtrack that and say, "Oh, we were just thinking about it."
Was that why the PS5 was delayed almost? Because Sony, and this going back, we'll wrap this like pretty quick, but they missed the year the PS5 came out. They missed the Christmas window. They really missed the Christmas window bad, and it ended up coming out like almost 6 months later, which isn't the best time to really. Well, there's not a Western civilization push to get a new system in April like there is in late November, December for reasons.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously you want to hit that Q4 mark pretty hard. Like, if you want to get your console out there in the fall.
For Christmas.
Yeah, for just a Q4 push, regardless. Yeah. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know if COVID also had something.
No,
to
this
do
is before COVID. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Because I remember, I locked myself in the hotel room, and when I'm doing the movie in Jackson, Mississippi, I don't drink anyways, but after the 12-hour shoot days and stuff like that, I went back to my room to play the new Batman game while everybody else went to the bar across the street and stuff. And I mean, look, I'm a weirdo. Anyways, so moving on from that, I want to talk about a couple other fun things that we had just talked about. Naked Gun.
The Naked Gun.
Yeah. So easy to say our happy place, that style of comedy.
I liked it. Yeah, the classic kind of Zucker Abrams, Zucker or Zaz as they were referred to. Comedy from, gosh, they went all the way back to Kentucky Fried Movie, and then they did Airplane, and then they did then they did Police Squad, which The Naked Gun was based on. That movie came out in '88 with Leslie Nielsen. They did 2 more. The Smell of Fear, Naked Gun 2.5. The Smell of Fear, yes, and then Naked Gun 33 1/3, the final insult, with the questionable trans joke at the end. But you know what? Not everything is evergreen in comedy. But they have since, like last year, they came out with a new Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, no relation to Leslie Nielsen. But in the movie, there is a relation because he's supposed to be Frank Drebin Jr., which we turned out mathematically is possible.
Leslie Nielsen, 27 years older than Liam Neeson. Thank you.
Yeah.
Why'd I even try?
But
Why'd I even try that?
But
part?
I guess maybe Priscilla Presley's character has an Irish accent that we didn't know about because, or he spent his youth growing up in Ireland. Because he's got quite a
Daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Anyways,
who's the director? Who's the director?
What's his name?
Akiva.
Okay. I forget his last name, but he's from the Lonely Island.
So my management, she doesn't not like those movies. Those aren't her favorite kind of comedy. Those aren't her favorite kind of movies, but she likes them. She will see Airplane, and she likes it's a hospital. What is it? It's a big building with patients in it.
Well, that's not important right now.
That she likes that, but it's not her happy place. Like it's my happy place. But she loves the Lonely Island guys. She loves that podcast. She loves Andy Samberg, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, top 3 all-time favorite show for her. She really, really wanted to watch it, and I kind of wanted to watch it, but I kind of, I'm happy with my relationship with Naked Gun. So the other day, we had a couple weeks off. She didn't work for a couple weeks, which was really nice. And she's like, one night we're like, oh, we'll watch this. Okay. So she wanted to watch it more than I did. About 2 minutes into the movie, it was clear I was going to giggle and cackle my ass off relentlessly the whole time. And she'd be like, she expected more. She wanted to be more. I don't know what she expected, but
I think she was disappointed in how much fun you were having.
You know what? Don't underestimate that. She likes dumb, predictable humor, but not that dumb and not that predictable.
Right.
Me, loved it.
Right. You enjoy the delivery of the punchline, even though you can see it coming down Fifth Avenue in a cab.
They do the thing where they're going to spell the movie title on a title card by shooting bullets into it, but they didn't leave enough room, naked G, and then they're like, damn it. And then the UN had to go sideways, on the side because it couldn't, like those little sight gags. And by the time they got you knew they were running out of screen space, and it's like
corny.
A couple jokes didn't see coming that hit really funny.
All right. Yeah. I did see it the one time. You saw it one time, but this thing is my retention of movies and anything lately is bad. So you're going to probably retell a couple of points from the movie, not to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but you'll have, remembered things from the movie. All I remember is the snowman sequence, and also like the end credit sequence.
Yes, the end credit sequence was great. It was really nice. It was really great. I won't give anything away, but one of the things about the original Naked Gun movies is very, very third in billing. Was he third in billing?
Who's it?
You know who I'm talking about.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. All of you.
Maybe. I think maybe Priscilla Presley might have eked him out. So maybe
that's what third. Okay, so
it would have been George Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
The partner.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been Leslie Nielsen, George Kennedy, maybe Priscilla Presley third, but maybe O.J. Simpson third. Who knows?
And so they didn't shy away from part of her past.
Right.
Did not pay homage to him.
But you did see him.
You did.
You did see a picture of him.
So
but Paul Walter Hauser was the son of George Kennedy's character. So Paul Walter Hauser, he's the guy that's been in like, he played Richard Jewell in the movie about the Atlanta Olympics bomber. God, I mean, what was the most?
Press Your Luck.
Yeah, the Pressure Luck movie. He was Stingray and Cobra Kai. I mean, he's been in a bunch of stuff that I love, and I really enjoyed having him as part of this movie as well.
It was yeah. So I did. I liked it a lot more. We said we weren't going to talk politics, so we're not. But I will say, when you talk about movies, we live in a dystopia. We live in a dictatorship. All that. Yeah, that's for another conversation another day. But I will bring up the fact you heard since we've last talked on a podcast. He's bringing the Hunger Games to life.
No.
In real life, he announced a couple of weeks ago there's going to be a competition with 2 high school athletes for every state. Not to the death, but I swear to fucking God, I think there's somebody in his orbit who's like, let's see if he'll say this. And literally, we're bringing the Hunger Games to life. There is a real Hunger Games that happens this year where there's going to be a national champion, man and woman, 2 people from each state competing.
Competing in what?
Yes.
No. Like, are we talking like Quiz Bowl, or are we talking about
physical,
like American Gladiators?
Like American Gladiators.
Or American.
But not to a death, maybe a decathlon thing.
American Ninja, whatever.
Anyway.
Uba.
So yeah. So
for what? Well, what do they compete?
I don't. But the fact that yes. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways.
Whatever.
So moving on. So going forward, yeah, I not make an announcement, but Joe came over. Joe slept over last night. We babbled too much. I babbled too much. Let's be honest. Babbled too much this morning. I have Joe on the ropes of doing a Get a Life podcast because we watched a couple. Oh, we watched 2 episodes, and then the 3.
I think there were 3 episodes on the disc. I think it was like the very last disc. So I think it had disc by disc I mean DVD of Get a Life. Yeah, we watched. Well, we watched, what was the episode? 1977-2000, where he travels back in time. And what was the other one? Oh, no.
The clip episode.
Oh, it was a clip show. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was just those 2.
No. But either way, then there was a half-hour vignette of like...
A featurette, yeah.
Featurette that's fucking fantastic.
It was
laughed our asses off.
It was like made for the DVD. It was an interview. It was basically like a talking head segment for about half an hour with David Merkin, the creator / director writer of a lot of the Get a Life episodes. Co-collaborator with Chris Elliott and Adam Resnick, who was Chris Elliott's writing partner at that time. Probably still, I don't know. I'm not sure what their current status is, but there was a guy who was the president of Fox at the time, Peter something like that, Peter McNichol, I forget his last name. And then there was another woman who was another executive with Fox. This is like, the show came out in 1990, so this is like 4 years after the Fox network launched.
It was great. The whole we just laughed. So,
and Judd Apatow was also on there.
Judd Apatow and James L. Brooks.
James L. Brooks, yes.
Right. So we did. So I pretty much, and we have a new setup. We have a new rec room, kind of, whatever, game room now. We're moving things around the house, so there's a room that we could actually, do a watch along thing now. So I think I have Joe on the ropes. So
I think Jacques thinks we're literally going to watch an episode in real time.
Yes,
and then comment on
100%.
That makes no sense.
It did.
Bad idea.
Which there are many more to come.
Anywho, my 2 cents.
So we're going to wrap this up. I'm trying to keep the podcast a little shorter. I will make it a little bit of an announcement. It's not definitive, but I had about 3 weeks off from substitute teaching. I taught like three times this week, back in the special ed rooms with elementary kids. Did a couple pre-K classes, fantastic. But my announcement is, it's not official, but I believe we're over the hill. We've seen the worst. We're on the other side of it.
Over the hump.
Thank you. That was the term I just couldn't spit out.
I mean, you've been over the hill for quite some time.
It's so fucking true. The 6'7" meme. It's
in the rearview mirror.
It's in the rearview mirrors. I worked 3 or 4 days last week maybe heard it a half dozen times collectively. Like I was in a reading room with these kids and we're going from you open this book and it's on page 6 and 7 and the kid's like, oh, 6, 7. But dude, before winter break, it was relentless. And to the point where some schools ban it. Like you get in trouble for saying it. Like, and it was just the dumbest thing. And look, we learned, my management and I learned, and when our kids really start with the Gen C stuff, like just use it.
By the way, not Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
And I don't even know about the Gen Alpha. It might be the previous generation. Like the youngest kids might be Gen Beta. I don't know what the fuck.
But when my kids were using the saying no cap. If we said no cap at the end of every sentence, look, I need you to get up. You're going to miss a bus. No cap. Like using it unironically, actually putting into your lingo was fucking kryptonite to them. It was the worst thing ever.
Right.
So I'm like, and look, the people leaned into it. Like a few weeks ago, it was Kings night at the LA King game. Kids night. It was kid night at the LA King game. For warm-ups, they all came out in 6-7 jerseys. Dude, lean into it, whatever. But
thank you, adults, for killing. By the way, thank you for the concerted effort last year, adults, for killing the 6-7 thing, because nothing turns off kids more than adults using it in everyday parlance, and then like seeing it kind of pop up, not accidentally. If you're a kid, if you see something that, oh wait, they're onto us. No, we got to come up with something new.
Yep.
And maybe the shelf life of these fads are like,
but that was
short.
Huge. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was many kids getting 6-7 plushies for Christmas. There was T-shirts. It became a huge thing.
I saw a post on social media last month where I don't know where this was photographed, but there were magnets that, like, I think it's about like the year you were born. So the I Heart New York. So they have magnets that are in numerical order that say I Heart 67, I Heart 68, I Heart 69, and somebody took a photograph of, and then like it said like I Heart 66 or something like that, and somebody the I Heart 67 had been removed. And so all you saw was like 66, 68, 69. And somebody said, like, we raised this generation wrong because they didn't go for the 69 joke.
Oh, yes.
Instead, now they're doing the 6-7 joke.
Wow. Just a failure across the board.
Yes.
So let's wrap this up by preventing future failures with a parenting tip. What do you got? What's a parenting tip out of the gate? 2026. What you've had a few weeks off, had some real time to think about this. What do you got?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, Jacques. Is it? I would say, if I were a parenting tip, I would give a parenting tip, especially in the new year. I mean, especially with all that time off. Especially somebody who's been a parent for almost 26 years now. I've accumulated a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, some might say, of parenthood. And I would have advice to, dole out to my listeners of my own podcast. This is the perfect platform. So again, I just want to thank you for giving me the platform to give me the opportunity to give a parenting tip. Back to you, Jacques.
Well played. That's what you call word salad. So my parenting tip. So Christmas, we had a great Christmas. It was fantastic. My parenting tip is I've over the years have told our boys literally, I don't need anything. I'd be happy with a nice Christmas card. I don't need stuff. Don't worry. Get but this, that, the other thing. And this year they listened. Which is great because I don't need stuff. However, the week after Christmas, when they asked for more stuff than that was under the tree, it's like, well, now that they have this new game system, can I take them and I buy them a game? And I'm like, oh, what did you get me for Christmas? So now I have leverage that, hey, I already got you this great new thing. and you got me nothing, which is awesome. But, but now I'm not obligated to get you more. So my parenting tip is, make sure you set them up to fail. No, but it is. It was nice that I was able to say, hey, you got me the card. You spelled my name wrong on it, but that's okay.
It is a hard name to spell.
It really.
And they are your kids.
It is. Or Papa with the two A's.
Oh, yes.
The A at the
right, but they forgot the accent.
The umlaut. Oh, no,
yeah, there should be an umlaut.
But that's it. So I finally got them to not waste their money on something that they didn't have to frivolously spend on, but that also paved the road for me to say, you got money from your grandmother for Christmas. You got more present than you should have, for so many reasons. No, we're good. Mm-hmm. We're good. We're good for this. So that's it. So, Joe, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Jacques. Well, it's been another, sorry for this podcast. No, it's been another one. Great. Another year ahead of us. How many years do I have left on my contract? I forget. I know Howard Stern just renewed for 3 years, 2 days a week for maybe, I think, 12 weeks. It's like something really, I think he used to do 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday. And I think now he only does 2 days a week. I don't know for sure. I haven't actually, I listened to one episode the week he came back. By the way, this is his 20th anniversary of being on satellite radio this year, this week. So, congrats to the Stern Show for that. I'm a, big Stern Show fan. But we're not on the Howard Stern Show now, are we, Joe? No, we're on Carnival Personnel Podcast. Speaking of word salad, how many, this used to be just Carnival Personnel. Now we're Carnival Personnel Podcast. Next year will be CPP. I think, I know why, because you added the extra P, because CP is short for other things on the internet. We didn't think that far ahead when we did it. And actually, we didn't know. We didn't know. That was back in 2017, pre that abbreviation, I think. So not that there was plenty of that abbreviation going on, unfortunately, but the reference of that. Anyway, you look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. And actually, don't look it up. But that's just going to be another year. It's not actually, I don't truly call this the new year. We started in May of 2017, so we're actually kind of mid-season. So this is our very mid 8th year of podcasting. Speaking of streaming services that will dissolve in the ether when the service goes away. I mean, once what do we use? Podbean. Like once Podbean, decides to delete. Are you saving all of these files on a backup somewhere? Because if not, you should be downloading them to like a hard drive or something for posterity, because it's just all gonna go away. All you digital hoarders out there, all you CPP heads, you better start downloading and saving these MP3s or whatever now, because God only knows how much longer we have of the privilege of listening to the back catalog. If you haven't listened to the back catalog, by the way, I did enjoy the repostings of the Christmas episodes over the past few weeks. Those are nice. This is the pre Mike Smith episode from last week, a couple of weeks ago, and back in December. It was very nice. Apparently we got some good hits on the reposts. It doesn't hurt to have the word Christmas in the title of the episode when you're searching for Christmas stuff in December. So there were episodes from 2017, way back in the first administration, when things were just beginning to fall to pieces. But we sounded so much more into what we were talking about at the time. I think actually right now, when I hear back this episode, I'll feel like I've recaptured some of that enthusiasm, because right now I'm in person with you here. And that's what we had originally for the pre-COVID. There was no even consideration of doing it online, unless you were like in Los Angeles or something, if you were traveling. That would be the only time we would consider pre-COVID to do this podcast online without food. I mean, imagine doing a podcast without food and chewing during the podcast. I mean, that's, it was something that would be unheard of in 2017 on this podcast. But you know what? We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back in small doses. So, luckily both of our wives are out of town this week. So we're able to, sneak away from our other family members to meet in person and hang out and talk to you about garbage. I know Jacques wanted to keep this under an hour, so I'm sorry for all the rambling. I pushed this over an hour. It's what I do. I ruin. I am the spoiler. I'm a cooler. You ever see that movie with William H. Macy as the cooler, the classic, and Alec Baldwin's the pit boss of a Vegas casino, and he brings in William H. Macy to. He's such a mush that when he sees that it's somebody at the table is getting too hot, they bring in this guy to just kind of kill the vibe. He's the cooler. That's what I am. I'm the cooler of podcasts. That's the only time the word cooler would be applied to me. Oh, you nitwit. Anywho, here's to a year of not sucking. I know it's not happening. We already listened. If you've seen the news in the past just the past week, it's already off to a bad start. It's already like off to just a very, very bad start in the United States and the world. Yeah. Maybe something happened in another country that involved the United States. Yeah, maybe that happened. Maybe something abhorrent happened within the United States between somebody with a position of power doing something to a U.S. citizen that should not have happened in the United States, let alone any other first world country. Did I say first world country? Anyways, that's me in my 2017 head again. Just thinking back to when we were one of those. Anyway, here's to a good old 2026. And as I end every podcast, Jacques, I implore you and to our listeners out there, don't forget.
From a foe of Moses, and there's a gun and some roses, and that's the Buddha from Rome. Yeah, it's Greek, and then the bottom part's Asian, and roughly translated, it's this white boy gold. It's gold, praising and permanent. The deepest of thoughts, the thinnest of scars, and it's more, so much more than an ornament. I tore the heart off my sleeve and carved it into my heart. It's left-handed, and he said I'll understand it once the past is all gone. Yeah, it's old, and it's a little bit faded, and it's my first and my favorite. This is made in my mom. It's cold, brazen and permanent. It's what I truly believe. Get it filled in the fall. And it's more, so more than an ornament. I'm all about no regrets. Didn't hurt much at all. It's bold, brazen and permanent. It's the deepest of thoughts, the thinnest of scars. And it's more, so much more than an ornament. I tore the heart off my sleeve and carved it into my heart. Came because I knew you'd be here. I knew I'd see you half away. Wore the clothes with the smallest holes. Didn't drink and I'm not that big. But all my life, afraid to wait. And all I've got is stupid things to say. Getting right to your quiet ride. Thought I'd left that jump behind. Screw myself up with your kind. You scream so loud yet so refined. Color inside all the lines. Scribble all over my mind. Now I'm falling one last time.
I'm so glad we shortened that song.
It was too long, dude.
There was one problem I had with that song. It was way too long.
I can never remember. I
Get the
never.
point.